Hello and welcome to Lesson 2 of my Beginner's Pole Choreography course. Hopefully you're fully warmed up and ready to start practice. Today we're going to begin with a conditioning action which will help for part of the choreography. This is called a swan hold, sometimes known as fang, but I don't particularly like that name myself. I tend to call it swan. So we're going to stand quite close to the pole, place your belly up against the pole. Having bare skin helps your grip against the pole here. We're going to circle our arms up to take hold of the pole up nice and high, but with our shoulders pressed down for elegance and control. Then we're going to lift one leg up and then very gently switch between legs, trying to maintain that grip, hold that position against the pole. We'll try the same with the other hand high. So switch hands, again keeping them both nice and high but with your shoulders down. Draw the belly in against the pole. Lift one leg, perhaps start with the other leg this time, and then gripping tightly with your fingers, a gentle switch from leg to leg. If this is feeling very strong and you're not losing too much height, you're not sliding too much with each transition, go back to your strong side with your hand, so with your strong hand high, and then see if you can draw your legs up to meet each other. And then just bring your toes down as you're sliding towards the floor. Make sure that you don't drop and let your knees hit against the floor. That could be very dangerous. If that felt okay, try on your weaker side. So with your non-dominant hand high, reach up high, and again, lift one leg. Or if you like, you can try just peeling your toes off the floor. Sliding is fine as long as you control coming back to the floor and not letting yourself drop. Press pause here and try this a couple of times on each side. When you're ready, we'll move along. Our next conditioning move, also from the choreography, is known as Crucifix, and it's your first hold up on the pole. I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll break it down for you. So the Crucifix is quite a challenging move for beginners. It usually will take a few sessions until it's relatively comfortable. To begin with, it's going to burn the skin all the way down the length of your legs because you're relying on that grip between your legs to hold you up, and your skin won't be accustomed to the friction that's required to hold you in place there. So the more you practice, and just little and often is best, the sooner your skin will get used to that sensation, and I promise that in time it won't hurt in the way that it does when you're first learning. So for this move, we're going to start by bracing the shin against the pole, and we'll have firm contact all the way from the inside edge of the knee down to the flexed foot at the bottom. And for this move, being barefoot would be an advantage because you'll have greater skin contact against the pole all the way along the length of your foot, or an open style shoe. So something to consider if you're not getting on quite so easily with this move. We're going to place our hands just above eye line, and then take a gentle spring as we pull ourselves up with shoulders down and clamp our standing leg against the front of the pole. I'll demonstrate. Clamping it in. So we've got complete contact all the way down the length of the legs. If you feel okay here, you might try a little release of the hands. When you've had enough, just let yourself slide down to the floor and release. Do try that on the other side, of course. Bracing, for me, my left leg, placing my left hand high, and then a gentle spring as we draw our bodies all the way up, belly up against the pole, and clamping that standing leg across the front. You might want to slightly elevate and cross that leg just so that you get maximum contact right at the top of the thigh. Here's how that looks up close. As you draw yourself up, lifting and crossing the free leg against the front of the pole before clamping it down for a nice chunk of thigh contact to help you grip more firmly. If it feels all right, consider releasing your hands, even if it's just for a split second. When you've had enough, slide gently down. Please press pause here to try this once or twice on each side, and do replay my tips if you need any reminders. Our final conditioning move for today will be an armpit grip against the pole. And this again is just getting this new part of your body accustomed to the sensation of gripping in against the pole, used to the burning feeling, and gently building up your power. So we'll put ourselves to the side of the pole, put your hips slightly in front of the pole, so you're resting the side of your bottom against the pole, and then, as always, with your shoulders down and back, just clamp the pole into your armpit. Place the outside arm high, and then maybe readjust so that you get as much of the side of your body up against the pole as you can. That will all help with your power to sustain yourself up high on the pole. And then, just as we did with the Swan, we'll try lifting one leg, and then as we grip in tightly with our armpit, see if you can switch. Again, re-grip your fingers and switch back. If it feels comfortable by any chance, and don't expect it to straight away, you might try peeling both feet off the floor and then placing them gently down. We'll do exactly the same on the other side. So again, stepping to the side of the pole with your hips gently forward, we're going to clamp our inside arm down with as much grip right in the nook of the armpit as possible, and then outside arm comes high. Try raising one leg, clamping down, and gently switching. And if that feels okay, you might try, maybe from the floor, peeling the toes off and down. Obviously, this is going to be working your core muscles as well as your armpit. So just try once or twice on each side. Save some energy for when we introduce this into the choreography later. When you're ready, I'm going to refresh our Bodywave that we learned in the last session and show you what follows on from there in the choreography. So we'll come into our Bodywave after our fireman spin. In our fireman spin, our feet come underneath us as we land. We're going to extend our legs completely as we scoop up with the chest. Bodywave 1. Our left foot steps back to support us as we roll into Bodywave 2. Finish that one with a little kick back of the hips. Hold that pose a moment before inverting the action. So curling the hips under and then allowing the rest of the body to roll up to finish. So I'll show that again. We finished low in our fireman spin. We extend our legs, scooping up, Bodywave 1, Bodywave 2, hips tip back, curl under to scoop up. From here, we're going to take 4 prancing steps as we wave our outside arm back and forth across our body. So the steps will begin on the right foot. We'll slide our right hand up as we prance, 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 prance. I'll show that whole sequence again. So from the bottom of our fireman spin, extend the legs, scoop up, Bodywave 2, tip back, curl up, then prance, 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 prance. Let's try that together, starting from the fireman spin. So the fireman spin is on the right-hand side, 3 steps on the right foot. 1, 2, 3. Fireman spin. Extending the legs. Bodywave 1, Bodywave 2, curling up, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Super. From there, we're going to step around the pole and into our underarm turn. So I'll show you how that looks. A step toward the pole on the inside foot, letting yourself sink down and around, and then drawing up into the underarm turn. So, as I said last week, the underarm turn will take quite some time usually to become second nature. It requires a lot of practice. So let's now in isolation try that step around the pole into the underarm turn. Remember, we're opening our fingers and keeping constant contact against the pole as we turn the hand around to the point where we can grab again on the other side. We'll begin with the right hand high, stepping toward, reaching around, turning up and out. I'll show that on the left. Stepping toward, reaching around, turning up and out. And again on the other side. And on the left. Fantastic. If the underarm turn is still feeling a little alien to you, consider scrolling back to my tips from session 1. If it's feeling okay, let's now piece together all of the choreography that we've learned to date up to the underarm turn. Starting with hip rocks. 3, 2, 1. Step, face, pull, open. Step, face, pull, and open. Head roll. Step, turn to pull, squat. Fireman spin. Four prancing steps. Step around, underarm turn. Well done. Let's try that again from the top. 3, 2, 1. Great. Next, we'll try a new spin, which will follow on from the underarm turn in our choreography. It's called the back hook spin. I'll show you the move and then we'll break it down. We'll use our armpit grip to slink up from the floor. So for this move, we'll start with our inside arm high. We're going to take a step towards the pole on the inside foot, take that deep step around, and then from here, let the outside leg circle all the way around until you're facing backwards. To come up from the floor from here, we're going to adopt that position that we did earlier in our conditioning, our armpit grip. So drawing the armpit all the way up to the pole, gripping tightly down, drawing the elbows together. We just need enough grip to slide our feet up in front of us. And from here, hips lead up to come back to standing. As always, try this on the left as well. So left hand high, stepping the left leg toward the pole, around, and then continuing down. Let the pole slip in against the back of the inside thigh and draw the tips of the toes together. As you settle gently onto the floor, the upper hand releases, sweeping down and back, whilst your upper body arches. We then clamp the armpit into the pole so we can slip our feet up in front of us, arching up through the hips to finish. Let's try the back hook spin together now, starting right hand high, stepping toward the pole, squatting around, turning all the way back until the tips of the toes can draw together, gently down, arch back and release, gripping into the armpit, slide feet through, hips leading up. Same again on the left. Inside foot toward the pole, squatting around, pivoting back, toes together, softly down, arching back, release, grip the pole, slide feet through, hips leading up. Great. Press pause here to try the back hook spin once on each side, all by yourself. If there's anything you're uncertain about, do scroll back to my tips. When you're done, we're going to learn a new spin, the corkscrew spin. Here's how it looks. We'll come out of that with a hip and dip, and 4 figure eights with the hips. Let's break this down. So we'll be coming into the corkscrew spin from the back of our back hook. We'll have locked in with our armpit grip and come up hips first. From here, we'll place our inside arm up high and take 1 step on our inside foot. Before bringing that outside leg around, we lock the heel around the front of the pole while the front of the back foot comes up to meet it. Your lower hand will be positioned down with the fingers open. Press the palm in against the pole to keep your body pressed away whilst allowing yourself to slide down and around. And from there, we come into our hip and dips, followed by our figure eights. I'll show once more on the left. So left arm high, stepping the inside foot forwards, circling around. Then as the tips of the toes come down, we're going to go straight into our hip and dip sequence. And here, do consider your position in relation to the audience. So maybe bringing your head from side to side of the pole as well, just to accentuate that connection to your viewers. Let's try the corkscrew sequence together on each side, starting right hand high, step inside foot, hook onto the pole, spiral down, hip and dip, and figure eights. Cool. Now let's try on the left. Step inside foot, circle right leg round, corkscrew down, hip and dips. Figure eights. And again on the other side, step inside foot, hip and dip, figure eights. Now on the left, cool. Our last new move for today is called the scissor kick, and this uses again your armpit grip, so you'll probably just want to try it once or twice today so that we don't overwork this new gripping point here. We're going to step our inside leg past the pole just to place our hip against it so we can get this really strong point of contact that will give us the power to complete the move comfortably. This time, we're going to sweep our standing leg up, switch, and back down to the floor. So just try it once on each side and keep switching back from side to side so that you don't overwork one side too much. So again, on this side, we'll step our inside leg through in order to place our hip against the pole and take that strong grip right into the armpit. Then we sweep the back leg up, switch, and back down. Do consider keeping your legs as long as you possibly can, pointing those toes. It's very easy to be a bit too relaxed with your legs and for it to look a bit sloppy. That's fine when you're just getting used to the grip, but do consider how you can make it stronger. It can make you feel stronger in your body as well, when your limbs are nice and long, keeping those toes pointed. Follow along with me now, starting to the right of the pole, stepping left foot past the pole and scissor kick. And now to the left, step right foot through, lock armpit grip, scissor kick. And once more on the right. And now to the left. Great. For the final part of this session, please play the video choreography of You Don't Own Me on YouTube and see if you can follow along all the way up to the scissor kick. Remember that you'll be mirroring me as I appear on the screen, so you'll be on the opposite side of the pole. Try not to focus too heavily on what you see me doing, but keep in your mind the moves that will be following on next. I hope you enjoy that. When you've had enough, have a thorough cool down, and I'll look forward to seeing you for our next session.